After getting off to a pretty shaky start this season, Devin Booker has been on an absolute tear over the past 7 games. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on the film to see exactly how he's doing it. Now, when looking at Booker's game, the first place where we have to start is his mid-range scoring. So far this year, Devin has been one of the most efficient and high volume in-between scorers in the league, where he's attempting over 5 mid-range pull-ups per game, while shooting an efficient 53%. When looking closer at Booker's shooting mechanics, his shot is perfectly crafted to generate these in-between pull-ups, both getting a ton of lift off the floor while having a high release point. That elevation allows Booker to get his jumper off without creating a ton of separation. As soon as he feels that he's got space, Devin pretty much always has the lift to get his jumper off over heavy contests. We'll see him here turn the corner off the screen, and he both sees this open space at the elbow and feels his man's hips open up trying to fight back in front. So Devin's going to simply take one hard dribble and elevate up this right-left jumper. And like you just saw on that last clip, Booker's got a good feel of reading when his man is off balance. Notice here how open up this defender's stance is, and when Booker picks up and elevates, he has no chance of bothering the shot.
Booker gets that free throw line extended jumper.
So because Devin can comfortably rise up over heavy contests, he doesn't always have to create a ton of separation off the dribble. He's going to come off the screen to his left, to then slow down and hit this in-rhythm sidestep to his left. And that's more than enough breathing room for him to rise up. Now he's playing in isolation against Shade and Sharp, and Devin's first going to attack across the middle to his left, to then pick up and step into contact. And again, as he organizes his feet to pull up, Devin doesn't really have a ton of space, but that elevation is pretty much always a get out of jail free card. And because Booker is comfortable rising up with the defense in his airspace, that also leads to him drawing a ton of fouls on these pull-ups. And so far this year, Booker is averaging over 7 free throw attempts per game, which is the 4th most across the NBA. And that's pretty impressive considering how Booker's volume at the rim is pretty low. And Booker drawing fouls on these pull-ups, in return causes the defense to hesitate on fully committing to his jumpers, which then leads to more open looks. Off the dribble, I also think Booker has really good pace and footwork. His handle may not be super eye-catching or flashy, but he's still very effective in creating angles and getting to his spots. Off the bounce, Booker is great at using his feet to pick up momentum. Watch him here go between and skip his feet up, which gives him the leverage to explode into his drive. And once he gets the defense on his hip, it's right back to stopping and using the elevation. One of Booker's go-to moves is this simple hezzy blow-by, but again, the important details is the way Booker gets his feet active underneath the ball. Watch him here lift his chest up and skip off that right foot, to then replant that right foot, pushing himself downhill. With the ball, I also think Booker is elite at changing speeds, by lulling the defense to sleep at this pace, to then drop back down into aggressive drives. Watch him here go between and lift up his chest, and when he feels the defense leaning forward, Booker's able to get outside of his frame with one aggressive dribble. And once Booker gets you on his hip, you're pretty much dead. I also love the pace on this move, where Booker's initially attacking downhill, then pulls the ball out. And notice how smoothly he goes from being relaxed and scanning the floor, to opening up his stance and dropping back down into a drive.
Booker! Silky!
When attacking to his spots, I also think Booker's got really underrated strength. Whenever he gets his man to open up, he's great at initiating additional contact to throw them off balance. We'll see him again here use that hezzy and blow by. And as this defender tries to slide and wall him off, Booker's going to lower that inside shoulder to bump them back, creating the breathing room to elevate. So when looking at Booker's total bag of skills, he's got the perfect build to be a high level in between scorer. He's got great elevation on his shot, he's got the ball skills to create attacking angles, plus he's great at initiating contact to create extra space. And then pretty much all that pace, strength, and shot making carries over to Booker's play and pick and roll. But this is also where Devin's 3-point shooting plays a big factor. After getting off to a pretty shaky start from behind the line this year, Devin's percentages from 3 have been steadily climbing up over the past few weeks, and this is huge for a number of reasons. First, it obviously puts points on the board for Phoenix, but second, it also forces the defense to step up and fight over these ball screens, because if they go under and give Booker too much space, he's got no problem settling his feet into pull-up threes. But at the same time, if the defense fights over, that then gives Booker the leverage to turn the corner and unleash that pull-up game. When operating out of pick and roll, Devin's got great pace and navigation, being able to read the floor and work to open spots. The Suns on this play are running a pick and roll with the ball side corner empty, so when Devin turns the corner, he automatically has the breathing room to snake it back over to his right, where he can then lean back on that high lift jumper. So again, as a perimeter scorer, I think Devin checks all the boxes, but I still think there's one big flaw in Booker's game, and that's his ability to put pressure on the rim. So far this year, just over 20% of Devin's total shot attempts were at the basket, which puts him in the 15th percentile across the league. And this is where I think Booker's elite mid-range scoring can be a double-edged sword, because while Booker is very efficient from these spots, there's still going to be nights when those looks aren't falling. And that's where getting to the rim can provide consistent scoring, which is why I think Booker's overall production in the playoffs can be pretty up and down. But the other important element to Devin's overall game is that he can also provide a big scoring punch off the ball. Despite Booker's rough shooting patches throughout the season, he's still shooting 40% on all his catch and shoot threes. And this obviously brings a ton of value with the amount of talent the Suns have. We'll see Beal here working off these pin down screens. And notice how Brandon Miller roams off Booker to stunt at the ball, leading to this in rhythm catch and shoot three. And Devin being able to knock down these open looks also makes it easy for Phoenix to plug him into some different off-ball actions. On this play, he's just going to set a back screen for Durant. And when both of these defenders follow KD, that frees Booker up for another spot up three. Off the ball, I also think Booker has a good feel of spacing. I wouldn't say he's the most aggressive cutter or mover, but he does read the defense and relocate to open spots. And again, with the amount of talent he's on the floor with, simple things like this can have a big impact.
Side step, back to Book. Corner three.
Now when catching on the perimeter, Booker is also great at leveraging that shooting threat to create downhill drives. And when initiating these drives on the catch, Booker's got a great feel of angles and leverage. Notice here how Dyson Daniels is shifted across the paint, giving Booker the straight line drive to his right. And then if the defense is somehow able to scramble and cut off Booker's drive, he's still got that elite mid-range game in his back pocket, and he can go right back to initiating contact and elevating.
Booker.
So as an overall scorer, Booker pretty much brings everything to the table. He's got the on-ball skills to generate efficient offense in pick and roll and isolation. Plus he's got the tools to bring value as a floor spacer and being able to attack rotations off the catch. And while I would like to see him get to the rim more, he's still putting up very efficient numbers. And when Booker is playing at this level, the Phoenix Suns have a chance to beat anybody. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments who the kids should break down next. The kids here.